For the folde class, these are the steps in solving for the folde. So you can compare folde and Bernoulli. In solving for the folde, if your differential equation is in differential form, this is differential form, you will have to rewrite it to the standard form. Let's say your y is your dependent variable. You have q of x. This is when your y is the dependent variable. Now, if your x is dependent variable, this will be dx over dy plus x p of y equals q of y. Okay? And you will have to identify your p of y and q of y because your next step after rewriting your differential equation is to solve for the integrating factor, which is equal to the integral of p of y dy if your x is the dependent variable. And then your next line should be, if you have already solved your integrating factor, it should be y times the integrating factor equals the integral of integrating factor times the q of x dx plus c na. Now, c or q of y dy plus c. And this too will lead you to the general solution or to the particular solution if there is a given value of x and y to solve for the c. That's what folde is. Now, Bernoulli naman class is this one. You initially your DE may be in the form mdx plus ndy equals 0. And you're going to rewrite it to standard form, like what I have explained a while ago in the folde. But the difference this time is you have a y to the n sa right side or an x to the n. That's the only difference. So here are the steps. You rewrite your DE to standard form of Bernoulli, which is either this one or this. And then identify your P of X or P of Y, whichever is the case, no? Or, and Q of X and Q of Y. Or Q of X or Q of Y. Once you identify these two, you're going to solve for the PR of X. Why PR of X? Because you need to incorporate these values, the n, which is the degree of y in the right side of the equation. You are going to multiply your P of X with 1 minus n. And that would be, the product would be the PR of X. So you do that here. If your dependent variable is y, or if your dependent variable is x, this is what your template. Now, in the Q function, you also have to multiply 1 minus n to Q of x. So you can obtain QR of x. That is, if your y is your dependent variable. If your x is the dependent variable, then you use QR of y. 1 minus n times q of y. Step number 4, you solve for the integrating factor, which is equal to e to the integral of p r of x. So you're going to use PR of x or PR of y. And finally, the last two steps, you're going to solve now because you have already obtained your integrating factor. You proceed to this template. Z times the integrating factor equals the integrating factor or the integral of the integrating factor times QR of x dx plus c. Or if your x is the dependent variable, then you use this one, where z is y raised to 1 minus n. And finally, integrate right side of the equation in item 5. And that would be your answer, class. Okay? So let's apply this in our next item. You're asked to solve. Okay, you're asked to solve 2x dy minus y times quantity x plus 1 dx plus 6y cubed dx equals 0. Now, notice we have three terms. Okay, three terms. 1, 2, and 3. So what are we going to do? We also need three terms naman kasi because if you recall, class, our template should be D. It depends, no, kung ano yung dependent variable mo. Say, if your dependent variable is y, our template, so this is the case where your dependent variable is y. Now, let us see what is our dependent variable here in this differential equation. Now, take note, you have 2 dx. So what are we going to do? We have to eliminate this 2 dx by multiplying both sides of the equation by 1 over dx. So we can obtain this one, class. That is the independent variable. In this case, your dependent variable is the y. Your independent is the x, because if you multiply both sides by the equation, by the expression 1 over dx, mawawala na tong dx na yan, but this first term will have dy dx. So meaning, your dependent variable is y, not the x. So this will be written as dy dx times 2x, okay, minus, so we need to eliminate the 2x, this one. We need to remove that. So we multiply by 1 over 2x. So that the next line would be dy dx and then minus 0. And so we arrange this to the template that we have. So this would be dy over dx. So this should be plus. Plus dapat. Because our template is addition. And then we put the negative sign inside the grouping. So we have y and then negative x minus 1 over 2x. Okay, so this is obviously your p of x. And then we transpose this to the other side, to the right side. We have negative 3y cubed, okay, times 1 over x. Right? And so this is, okay, if I'm going to group together, we will remove this 3 here. Tapos, we write it here. So we have negative 3 over x. That should be your q of x. See? Not including this one. Not including this. Kaya nga ang tawag p of x, q of x kasi exclusively x. Okay? Now we solve for q r of x and p r of x. What is our n? Our n is equal to 3. Our n is equal to 3. All right? So we write it here, 3. And we have now PR of x equals 1 minus 3, because it's 1 minus n, times your p of x, which is negative x minus 1 over 2x. Okay, so we separate the denominator. We have two terms here. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 times the negative first term is 1. So our answer is positive 1. Correct? Because this becomes positive 2x over 2x. So we have positive 1. And then negative 2 times negative 1. So you have positive 1 over x. Correct, class? Okay. Sundan niyo ako?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay. So that's your PR of x. Meaning to say your PR of x is 1 plus 1 over x. Now let's use this to solve for our integrating factor. By the way, your QR of x here, QR of x equals negative 2, that's 1 minus 3, no? Times what, class? Times negative 3 over x. So it becomes positive. Okay, I'm going to write on the other side na lang, on the next page para hindi nakakalito. And then your QR of x is equal to 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. And then we have negative 3 over x. So that gives us positive 6, right? Over x. Correct, class? Let's solve our integrating factor. E to the integral of dx plus the integral of dx over x. Okay. Or, to proceed, e to the x times, plus ln of x. That's, by the way, equal to x times e to the ln of x, or e to the x times x. Okay? Or, rearranging it, x times e to the x. That's our integrating factor. So our next line should be, sa formula, z integrating factor equals the integral of the integrating factor times QR of x. QR of x dx plus c. So what is our z? Is equal to y raised to 1 minus n. But what is n? N is 3. So replace this with y. We have y 1 minus 3, or that's actually negative 2, times our integrating factor x e to the x equals the integral x e to the x times the QR of x, which is this one. Okay, so 6 over x dx plus c. X e to the x over y squared equals 6. What's the integral of e to the x? E to the x pa rin, class, no? Plus c. And so, we can simplify this. Dapat yung y squared nasa taas. Cancel dyan. So, meron tayong ganyan. Tapos, ang maiwan dito, y squared na lang. Y squared. Ayun. So, we have y squared in terms of exclusively x. 2x cubed y prime equals y. Tapos, y squared plus 3x squared. Ayan, class. So, again, template ulit, dx. So, dyan pa lang, identified mo na, dependent variable ko ay y. Wala nang pagbabago yan. Dependent variable ko ay y, tapos independent ay x. So, ito, gagawin natin dito is, ayan tayong dy, dx. Tapos yung right side, distribute natin ha. So we have y cubed plus 3x squared times y. So from here, meron pa tayong dapat alisin. Kaya we will multiply this by the reciprocal of that one. Yan. So, maiwan na lang dy, dx. Tapos, yung pangalawang term dito, saan dito class ang i-transpose natin? Sa right side. Yung y cube o yung 3x squared y? Saan class?
Yung 3x squared y po.
Yun. Tama. So, meron tayong negative, ha? Don't forget. Kasi template natin, positive. So, as is yan, positive. I-carry sa loob yung pag-change ng sign. So, since transpose natin to, it will have a negative sign sa loob. 3x squared. Tapos, ilabas natin yung y. Kasi, yung y na yan, ito yan. Okay? Tapos, meron tayong y cube. And then, okay, don't forget, nag-divide tayo. So, meron tayo ditong divided by 2x cubed. Tapos ito, 2x cubed. Ayan ha. So, ayusin natin. dy, dx, plus y dyan. Tapos yung p of x. Which is, mag-cancel to, no? Meron tayong negative 3 over 2x. Okay, so this would be y cubed. And then meron tayong q of x na 1 over 2x cubed. This is our q of x. Our n is 3. And we will convert this to PR of x. 1 minus 3, negative 2. Multiplied by negative 3 over 2x. So, yan. PR of x equals negative pareho, pero mag-cancel na yung negative 2 na to, tsaka yung negative na yan. So, ang maiwan na lang natin, negative 3 over x. That's our PR of x. Okay? Equals negative 2 ulit. Tapos, yung expression na 1 over 2x cubed. So, therefore, our QR of x is negative 1 over x cubed. Alright? So, remember these two expressions kasi gagamitin natin yan in the next line. By the way, wala na palang negative ito, class. Ito. Wala nang negative dun sa PR of x. Dahil negative 3 times negative 2, positive na yan. So, negative, let's erase the negative sign here. Yan, tama yan, na-erase na. So, ito, wala nang negative ito. Positive na yan. Double check natin before we proceed kasi baka may mali tayo, mahirap mag-troubleshoot ng mali. And then, the QR of x ay may negative sign talaga. Kasi yung Q natin is positive naman eh. Ito yun. Ito yun. It's our Q. So, multiply that by negative 2. Kaya, negative 1 over x cubed. Tama. Okay, let's proceed, no? Solving for the integrating factor, we have, ilabas natin yung 3. So, we have dx over x. Or e to the 3 ln of x. Or that's equal to e to the ln of x cubed. That is, by the way, x cubed. And then, times the integrating factor, x cubed, equals the integral of the integrating factor times the q of x. Negative 1 over x cubed. Mag-cancel na siya. Dx plus c. And this would be y squared, y to the negative 2, then x cubed, negative, cancel na yung x cubed. So what's left is multiply by 1 over x cubed. So y to the negative 2 equals, yan ay magiging negative 1 over x squared plus cx. That should be 1 over, letter c, no? C x to the x cubed pala. C over x cubed. Okay. Probably ibang form yon. Pero kung ganito na yung form niya, maswerte kayo kasi there's no need for you to rewrite it. Pero kung naka-differential form siya, i-arrange mo siya into this form. And then, pag-arrange mo, dapat identify mo yung P of X or P of Y. Pag na-identify mo na, makasolve ka na ng integrating factor kasi ito lang naman. It contains P of X or P of Y. And then, diretso ka sa template na yan. Pero pagka nagbe-Bernoulli ka ngayon, dapat magbabago yon kasi isusolve mo pa yung PR of X. After identifying your P of X or P of Y, solve mo yung PR of X na naka-incorporate doon ang 1 minus n. Don't forget that. 1 minus n. You do the same to QR of X. And then afterwards, you solve for the integrating factor. And then your next step, ito yung importante, i-incorporate mo na yung integrating factor sa equation na to. Template ito, class. Always yan. Or ito. And then, integrate ka na sa right side. Kasi yung right side na lang ang problema mo dyan eh. Part na ng solution yung left side. So, ginawa natin yan dito. Sa mga examples na to, class. Okay?